Hello, this is Lisa Shea, and this is part of the Working from Home video seminar. This section talks about getting items that you could use to help your home business succeed that are larger type of purchases. So these are not necessarily things you need right up front, and they are things that you might need to save money to get, but it's well worth it to put them into your future plans. And maybe you could ask people for these items for Christmas or for your birthday or something like that. The first thing has to be the United States Postal Service, assuming you're working in the United States or whatever your country's postal service is. And this has to do with making sure you can figure out postage when you send things out. It can be a royal pain to go back and forth to the post office and have to ask them to measure things and weigh things and then go back to ship them. So if you get yourself a postal scale, which can be really inexpensive, this makes your life much easier. I have an inexpensive postal scale here, and you can get all sorts of electronic scales or manual scales. It's well worth it to have a scale in your home so that you can tell how much something is. The website for USPS.com has all the pricing if you're shipping things in the United States. And if you're going to ship things priority mail, they'll even provide free packaging. So this could save you a fair amount of money depending on what you're sending and whether the people you're sending to are going to help you pay for the postage or not. USPS.com also offers free online stamp printing. Not that the stamp is free. I mean, if it's a 39-cent stamp, you still have to pay 39 cents. But there's no extra fee involved, and you don't have to go to the post office. So if you have a printer with labels, or even just a printer with regular paper, then you can use your credit card to buy the postage, print it out and stick it on your box, and then you just take the box to the post office and send it off. So it's well worth it to look into the different options you've got for postage, because it could save you hours and hours of work, which then means that your life is much more efficient and you are much happier. When you are looking at a desktop computer, this is going to be probably one of the larger purchases that you make for your company. It can, again, make a huge difference in the amount of time you take to do the things that you do, and to make your life easier on a day-by-day basis. That means that you can get more work done, or that you have more time for your family and friends, and just your work from home is going to go much more smoothly. You don't need an Uber machine necessarily, but you do need something that's fast enough for what you do. I have several friends who had really cheap, bad computers, and it made their daily life miserable because every time they tried to go on to correspond with people or to do work, it was a lot of aggravation, and the computer would reboot, and it made everything far more difficult than it needed to be. So it's inexpensive enough with modern computers to get something that at least can do basic operations without a problem. You shouldn't be working with a machine that's crashing all the time. You should be able to have one that can surf the web and that can get email and do basic accounting in a smooth manner. Make sure you have enough storage space to store files. I've got another friend who's got a machine that she constantly has to archive things off of it to get anything done, and that means that when she has to try to work on a project, she has to go digging through all her CDs and DVDs to track down what she's working on, and it means that everything that she tries to do takes probably twice as long, if not 3 times as long, than it should. Storage space is pretty inexpensive. Get enough storage space so that you have the files you need, and back it up regularly so that you keep your systems nice and clean, and that you've got backups in case your system crashes. So part of that is making sort of a CD writer or DVD writer so that you can do your own backups. And there are also a number of online backup systems that will back up your system every night. It's well worth it because just one hard drive crash can have you lose everything that you've worked on. So there's definitely something within your budget. There are many online forums to help you with this sort of thing, or Bella Online has online forums to help you find computers that are within your budget. And of course, many computer companies are giving away computers for free that they're not using anymore onto a new system, and it could very well be that their old system is perfect for you. I highly recommend getting a laptop. Laptops used to seem like luxury items, but they again have come down to be very inexpensive. And again, a lot of people are getting rid of their old laptops because they're moving on to new laptops, and something they don't think is fast enough for their work might be perfect for the things you're trying to do. I use laptops all the time. For example, if I'm watching TV, you figure that there's like 15 minutes of commercials just in one TV show, and during all those commercials I can go online and I can check mail and I can catch up on things, and it means the time isn't wasted. And if it's right there, then it makes the work much more easy to do. It also has to do with being somewhere where you're happy working. If you've got a back porch, you can be out on your back porch working on your laptop, and it'll make things much less stressful for you. You're more likely to get a lot of work done. So in many different ways, a laptop can be very helpful. So make sure that, again, it is fast enough to do what you need it to do, but it doesn't need to be super fast. It just needs to be able to match up with the things you're doing. Make sure there's enough space in there to store the files that you need to, And remote terminal ability is really key for a laptop. What this means is that your laptop can take over your main computer. So if I'm sitting on my back porch with my laptop, I go into this program and suddenly it's just like I'm sitting at my main computer, and I can run the programs there, and I can check my email from my main computer. So it means that you can do work on your main computer while being somewhere else that's much more relaxing for you. So it's very well worth looking into. I have a whole section coming up on ergonomics, but to mention in brief about monitors, I highly recommend a flat screen monitor. Priced greatly. They are very small, so they take up very little space on your desk, which is great. You can always use more space on your desk. They're very light if you need to move them around. You can easily make them higher or lower if you need to get them to be where your eyes need to be. And the widescreen gives you much more space to work with so that you can see much more of what you're trying to work with. Make sure that you test it out wherever you're going to be getting it from so that you can make sure that it's not going to strain your eyes. It might seem that all monitors are pretty much the same, but I've found a huge difference with different monitors with how much they hurt my eyes to sit and work on them for multiple hours in a row. If you're going to be doing work on the computer, you want it to be as easy on your eyes as possible. If you end up damaging your eyes, then it's going to affect everything you try to do in life. Have your eyes be as easy as possible to do the work that you need to do so that you're not getting headaches and eye strain from the task that you're choosing to do on your computer. A UPS is an uninterruptible power supply, and what this does is it's like a giant battery. If you have some sort of power outage, so like a lightning strike hits near you or a car hits a pole and the power goes out for some reason, you don't lose everything that you were working on. It kicks in automatically when it senses that there's no power coming in, and it starts beeping so that you can run over and save your work and make sure that you've got everything saved. So this isn't like you're going to work through a thunderstorm. It's going to be, if the power goes out, you can run over and hit the save button to make sure that you don't lose anything because of the thunderstorm. You always want to save anyway, save frequently, but this will give you an extra measure of security, and it's a good thing to have, and it's really not that expensive either, so it's definitely a good safety measure for you. Related to this is a surge protector. You get both of these things in one unit, but what a surge protector protects against is spikes. A power stream coming into your house isn't always a smooth stream. Sometimes it has little spikes of extra power or drops of lower power. And when those happen, your computer is sort of a sensitive piece of equipment, and it might see that glitch and might reboot or do something else like that. And that could of course be very bad if you're trying to work on something and haven't saved in a while. So it's very good to have a surge protector on your computer and have other things plug into it. You know, your modem, your router, or that you wouldn't want to have suddenly go away when you're working on something. And again, it's pretty inexpensive, so it's not a big expense, and you can tax deduct all these things because they're all things that are going to help your home business succeed. So it's well worth looking into. It's sort of like flood insurance. You don't think about needing it until the flood hits, and then you wish you really had it. If you're setting up your computer area, make sure you think about these things and plan them into your budget. And it's not that much cost, but it can save you a great deal of grief going forward. So those are the key things to think about with the major purchases that you have. Each of these you can easily find many web pages out there that are step-by-step how to choose a computer or how to choose a laptop. Make sure you read and do your research and then find something that'll be useful for you. And don't stress too much about this being a lifetime purchase. You know, you'll probably, if you're successful, you'll probably get a new computer in a year or two, you'll probably get a new laptop in a year or two. The key is to make sure that it suits your needs now and that it's not dragging you down now. If you've got a system now that's always crashing, or if you have to go to the library or somewhere to even get on the internet, then it's wise to make this first step to get yourself moving along. Because the better you set yourself up, the more success you will have, which then means more money will come in to help you get even better equipment. So visit lisashea.com for step-by-step details on all of this, and I hope you're enjoying this series and move on to the next part, which talks about ergonomics. Thank you very much.